Intro music this week, boys. Jonas Blue, Mama. Really, really cool song. Standings, we got Make America Gronk again. 6-0. Looking to continue that undefeated streak this week against the number 2 team in the league, Mr. Luckbox. And if you look at those two rosters, which we will here in a minute, certainly the best two teams, and certainly the best two teams by a pretty wide margin. And they've done a really good job of managing their teams. But as well, if you look throughout the league this year, it's been a year of injuries, and with the exception of those two teams, and Adam has lost some players, but if you look down at the standings, I could right now name you significant injuries for almost every team here on this list, and some teams have had multiple significant injuries. It's just been a tough year. It's been a tough year. Staying healthy, having depth, handcuffing, those are all things that have been more important this year than in years past. In previous weeks, I've said that I think it's down to 8 teams for the playoffs, and I actually don't think that's still true. I think it's actually it's going to be exciting. I think at least 10 teams are still alive. And I looked ahead at the schedule a little bit. Just bye weeks kind of fall in certain ways, and you can play a team in the right spot. And the Butt Buddies got 37 out of Amari Cooper last night, looking to get another win. It's possible that that nobody really is totally eliminated. So it's going to be interesting. Shake and Bake is looking to stay hot. Probably rooting against Mr. Luckbox this week so he can try to get in position to somehow find a way to get that second bye. Just made a trade as well that I want to talk about. It's been a really fun year, guys. For me, I'm 1-5, but I've still enjoyed it. Really, really good league. The two trades I want to look at here. First of all, I apologize to Tyler. I traded Marshawn Lynch in a deal for Drew Brees. And then Marshawn Lynch went beast mode on a referee and will likely be suspended, as well as gave Ty 0.9 in his matchup this week. So that's, I don't feel good about that. Never wish evil upon someone else when you make a trade. So sorry about that, Ty. Thanks for Drew Brees. Big J, and this Oz has been trying to move a couple players for running back for a while now. And that's what he did. This is how you make trades. You look for a team that's hurt, not deep, looking for multiple starters. And Big J, he picked up Alshon Jeffrey, who may have a pretty good matchup this week. Hasn't been good at all. At all. I mean, he's maybe the 30th ranked receiver right now, just hasn't gotten into the end zone. But Alshon Jeffrey is a guy who's always very, very talented. Always, he's just not a high volume guy. I was off 21st ranked receiver. Does have 2 touchdowns and a 2-point conversion, I guess. But Jason did the 2-for-1 deal, traded Abdul on his bye week and picked up DeMarco Murray. A lot of teams are in this position, and I talk about this a lot, but sometimes you have to make trades so you can win a week. And Jason needed a running back. So he dealt a couple guys to get that running back from some depth that he had. He's good at receiver. That's how you make trades. So just take a look and really ask yourself, would I make this trade if I was the other guy? And that way you can avoid sending trades that are just ridiculous. Take a look at each matchup here. This is obviously Friday morning. So I was not able to get to these matchups before the Thursday night game that was really, really exciting. I was depressed about the Cubs, but I stayed up to watch the end of the football game. It was a great game. Odd, some weird things happened, like I previously referenced. Marshawn got ejected. What I did this week, other than the name change that was necessary as I'm playing Jason, was I saw that Trampus and Mark, are co-managing this team. So they have multiple minds, and it's really, maybe not fair. Maybe they should pay double. But I went ahead, called my good friend Blake Lively, and she said, of course, sweetie, I'll join your team. So that was really nice. We'll look forward to hearing from her. Maybe I'll have her on a show here in the future. But looking at this matchup here, I have to win every week pretty much. And Jason, he kind of needs a win this week as well. Going to 3-4, he would be okay if that were to occur to him. But he needs a win this week. So just looking at it position by position, the Drew Brees trade did make me better this week. I get, basically, I'm hoping the New Orleans touchdowns at Green Bay on the road, but New Orleans, you like them to score 4 touchdowns there. Looking at Jason's team, he's kind of had the Alvin Kamara, so it'll be interesting to see how that plays out with the New Orleans running backs. Jared Goff is a guy a lot of people are talking up this week in daily fantasy, and I kind of get it. I just don't know how I feel about Jared Goff. I've listened to a lot of things that are saying that some of the routes that he throws are routes that Arizona struggles on, specifically posts and drag routes. The Rams have kind of stacked some receivers to give him some easy releases, which is a good strategy for a young quarterback. But what Jason did too, I like the Philadelphia trade that he made because it's hard to play Alshon and Zach Ertz and just caps your ceiling. The Murray trade made Jason much better this week if he does play. So this is really an interesting matchup, and I like the trade that Jason made for his team. I do think it makes him better, and he had the depth to pull it off. So I'm going to struggle to roster an entire team this week because, once again, I just have I can't keep receivers healthy. So that's going to be tough. But this will be a really interesting matchup. Guys I like on Jason's team this week, if you're into the DFS, it's a good spot for Larry Fitzgerald. It's just it's hard to predict how many targets he's really going to get when John and Jaron Brown are both healthy, which seems to be the case. So Fitzgerald, perhaps. AJ Green. I hate that Jason has him because I really want to get some AJ Green in my life this week on the DFS angle. Mighty Midgets and Hide Your Children. A couple other teams that really need a win, especially Hide Your Children. He's been ice cold this season, and a lot of that's due to Seattle's slow start. Kind of weird, just their offense just hasn't gotten it going. But one thing you notice in this one, we don't have a single injury tag, and that is very, very rare in a matchup. Taking a look at the projection, it looks pretty close. Travis Kelce got in the end zone, didn't do much else last night. Position by position, obviously I think Matt Ryan is in a spot where he could really have a monster game, so certainly prefer the Midgets there. I do like the running backs of Hide Your Children quite a bit more than the running backs of Midgets. And then even when you look at the flex, Ty Montgomery is a guy who I believe in week 2 I said was the top 5 running back, gets hurt. And then some younger guys show that they have the ability to run the ball in Green Bay, and then Aaron Rodgers goes down. So that really, really hurts Mighty Midget's team, which actually is why this week I don't like doing it because it seems kind of out there. But I'm going to take Hide Your Children to pick up a win here. At some point, Julio Jones, I was talking to Jesse about this a little bit. What is his true value? What is Julio Jones? That's a large sample size to be the 32nd best receiver. And he's never gotten in the end zone, but, and he could put up 30 this week. He's no Michael Crabtree, but, Julio Jones is just one who just perplexes the heck out of me. Nathan Sucks D's Nuts is really having a good year. And even, he's not getting lucky, he's scoring points. And what he's done here is he's built a team, and he also has a lot of depth. I've looked at Pat's team a couple times this year. He has some guys on his bench who are very interesting. He's got Mac, or he had Mac. What did he do with Mac? Anyway, Derrick Henry, I think, is a super talented running back. Everybody argues with me about that. But certainly if Murray doesn't play, you got to like that. Gray's just running so sick bad this year. He's in a position where he has to start some guys who just shouldn't be starting, frankly. And I think Pat, he has one of the better benches in our league. If you take a look at it, he's got Fuller, who, by the way, Will Fuller has 8 catches since he's gotten back, and 5 have gone into the end zone. So you can do the math there. That's not sustainable. But Duke Johnson, Cameron Brate is a guy I drafted, I believe the number 4 overall tight end. I would not play Jordan Reed over Cameron Brate, by the way. I think that's crazy, but I got to take Pat in this one. Shake and bake, butt buddies. So Amari Cooper dropped a 37 bomb last night, and no one saw it coming because he hadn't been getting targets. He'd gone, I believe, his previous 4 games, he went 7 targets, 2 targets, 6 targets, 5 targets, and last night he had 19. Caught 11 of them for 207, a couple tubbies. and got you a bunch of bonus points in our league too for hitting that 200-yard mark. And it's going to be really hard for Jesse this week, but he's got Zeke traded for Alshon. I think Alshon's in a pretty good spot this week. Randall Cobb. Problem with his Green Bay guys is, once again, they lost Aaron Rodgers, but and then you have Aaron Jones chopping carries. Jesse, I like your team, and I think the trade you made makes you better as well. I just think it's going to be hard for you to come back after that 37 bomb. Mike Evans has a tough matchup. Jameis may not play. Christian McCaffrey, just a perplexing guy to me this year. But just on the sheer 37 points from the Butt Buddies, Jesse was very offended by that. And, Michael Crabtree, who he loves, gets outscored by 29 points by his teammate. So, guessing Danny's going to pick up a kicker. And that's just, that's a tough spot, Jack. Bad break. Simply Simple at AB's uvula. And Tyreek Hill got wide open. If you didn't watch that game, I flipped over and I was watching the series that Kansas City got the ball in their own 1-yard line and scored in 3 plays. And 2 of them were just straight up the right side, just one rounds, just straight up the right side for 36 yards on the first play out of the end zone. I think they ran a play and then they hit Tyreek Hill wide open, straight down the right side again. So the worst defense that I remember seeing on one possession, just the exact same mistake 2 plays in a row. And then Marshawn goes, as I said, I kind of was proud of the beast mode on a referee, but, punches a ref and is going to be suspended and gets tie 0.9. That's just a sick beat tie. Not running well with that one, but Luke made a trade that I think made him better too. And he dealt Aaron Rodgers. Ironically, he's playing Brett Hundley this week in that New Orleans game, hoping for a shootout, but trades Aaron Rodgers, and he's playing another Green Bay quarterback. Traded Aaron Rodgers at the right time, and then Aaron Rodgers goes down because it's been a horrible year for injuries. Just a terrible year for injuries. I like Luke in this spot, partially because of the 21 that he already got, but Antonio Brown just does what he does. I think Brett Hundley's in a sneaky good spot there. And as I already said, Marshawn punched a referee, so that really hurts Tyler. And one thing that will be interesting here is if Tyler can get a Nelson Aguilar long touchdown, maybe 2 touchdowns, that's a stack that can work out for him and really swing this one. But I like Todd Gurley this week as well. If you're a DFS guy, he's probably my number 1 running back aside from maybe Leonard Fournette. But Leonard Fournette's just he's getting up there in price. I really like Todd Gurley. I think it gives you a little bit of an off play from Goff, who everyone's talking up. I don't really think he'll be high played, but everywhere I go, they're like, play Jared Goff. And I'm not going to play Jared Goff because he's Jared Goff. And he doesn't fit my formula. I like the athletic quarterbacks. This is going to be fun here. Adam did not get off to a big start with Kareem Hunt last night, and you had to know at some point that he was going to slow down. Just, it wasn't sustainable. Just didn't get in the end zone. They threw him the ball a bunch. I mean, he was involved. But in a 61-point total scoring game, you like to get more than 11 out of Kareem Hunt. So that was impressive defense by Trampus and Mark. Position by position here, Tom Brady just could go absolutely bananas. And we have the Chris Hogan and Gronk situation here. I actually think that Chris Hogan is he's a must-play in all formats if Gronk doesn't play. But Gronk has no injury tag, and this is just an absolute smash spot for Gronk. Gronk's been really good, but he hasn't had a true Gronk game yet, and I think it very well could happen this week. So I think that's good for Make America Gronk again. Leonard Fournette is just going to eat and eat and eat and eat. Melvin Gordon and Keenan Allen, though, against Denver, not a spot that I really like to attack. I tell you what, I'm going to pick Mr. Luckbox here, and it's not just because I want that excitement at the top, but I do think that his team is in a slightly better spot from a matchup standpoint. We're going to exit with the same song from earlier. Adam has enough players in that New England game that should be high scoring to offset. I think Make America Gronk again has the best roster in the league right now. I just think this week, Mr. Luckbox is going to take it down. We're brought to you by Tesla Other Way Law Firm.